Our listings aren't selling as fast as they once were. Now what? Hi, I'm Eric Lowry with the Lowry team in eXp Realty. And, it's true. Some of our listings are starting to hang around. They aren't all selling as fast as they used to. Now, to be clear, some of them are. Some of them are still selling on the first or second day on the market. Some of them are still getting multiple offers. But many of them aren't. And so what do we do now? And so now we have to start honing in on some of these old back to the basics skill sets of communicating with sellers and so forth. And today, I want to talk about 4 strategies for working with sellers when the listings aren't selling so quick to help you still make sure you get those listings sold. First and foremost, you got to stay in contact with your sellers. You have to be speaking with them, staying in contact. They expect that, and when they don't hear from you, silence is not a good thing. So when sellers, from my experience, when they don't hear from you, they assume that means nothing's going on, that you aren't doing anything to market their property. So you need to make sure you're staying in contact with them every week until the home sells. It's a simple, I used to always do it on Mondays. Monday was my day to reach out to my sellers and have those conversations about what had happened with the showings the previous week and over the weekend. So whatever day it is, make sure you're staying in contact with them every week. And I highly recommend that you set a specific time to do it, that you do it the same day every week, whether that's a Monday or a Tuesday or whatever it might be, that you always do it on the same day so they have an expectation of when you're going to be reaching out to them. The second thing is when you're speaking to your sellers, you need to make sure you're talking to them about what's going on in the marketplace. What are you seeing going on right now that they need to be made aware of? If you're talking to them about facts and data, it's a whole different conversation over you're just talking about, oh gosh, we'll have to see what happens another week and hopefully, and maybe we'll try this or maybe we'll do an open house or whatever. I always recommended that you talk to them in this way. You talk to them about the area, meaning what's going on in the area, the price range, and what activity. And so largely what that means is, in the MLS, what in their area in the past week since you've spoken to them last, what new listings came on the market in their area and their price range, and bracket it out a little bit so that you get enough data, but you don't need real wide price ranges. But what's going on? What came on the market, new listings? What price reductions happened in their price point? What homes went pending? And largely, I'll also take a look at what sold and closed, although that's not unimportant, but I'm really trying to keep them up to date on exactly what's happening in real time. So that's new listings, pendings, price reductions. And so it just makes the conversation a whole lot different when you're talking to them about those actual facts and figures. The third thing is you need to be able to ask for a price reduction when appropriate. And that's often one of the more uncomfortable things for a real estate agent to do. Many times we don't want to have that difficult or uncomfortable conversation. And the best way I used to open up and use that script with a seller is simply to say, look, I know this isn't the conversation you want to have. It isn't the one I want to have either. And I do believe it's my job to be honest with you. And that's how I opened up the conversation about it's time to consider the price reduction. They all want you to be honest with them. If you ever ask a seller, do you want me to be honest with you? Of course, the answer is always yes. And so having those conversations will get you to that price reduction that's needed to get the property sold much sooner than if you wait and you wait and you put it off and you put it off. That tough conversation needs to happen. And so the fourth thing that I want to talk about is a way to preface that price reduction conversation when you're on the listing appointment. So the fourth thing here is what I call is the one of three things script. And so this is a conversation you want to have with your sellers before you actually take the listing, before it actually goes live on the MLS. And so what that sounds like is this. We've agreed we're moving forward. We've agreed to list the home on a certain day at a certain time, whatever it might be. And you say, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, here's what I know. Is when we put your home on the market, one of three things is guaranteed to happen. The first, we have a ton of showings. good feedback, a flurry of activity. We get an offer and we sell the property. That's what we're after. The second thing that could happen would be we get a few showings. There's a decent amount of activity, but it doesn't really feel like we're about to get the home sold. The feedback that we're getting is that, oh, it's a cute house, or it's not big enough, or the bedrooms are too small, that type of thing. That generally means we've missed the price by a little bit and we need to make a reduction. The third thing that could happen, Mr. Seller, Mrs. Seller, is that we list the home for sale and nothing happens. It's painfully silent. We don't have any showings, or we have one or a random second one. And that's just basically the market saying, hey, we missed it on the price by a lot and we need to make a reduction and we need to take action fast. These are the ways, those three things are basically the ways you set up with your seller ahead of time that if those things happen, here's what we need to do next. If you set it up properly with them ahead of time, oftentimes they'll reach out to you and say, hey, it's time for us to do reduction, isn't it? Now, they won't always do that, but they will sometimes, and it makes that conversation a whole lot easier. So one of three things is guaranteed to happen. Quick showings, we sell it. Woohoo, we're having a party. Second thing is we have a decent amount of showings, but it doesn't feel like it's going to sell. And the third thing is it's painfully silent. And so any of the number 2 or number 3 requires a price reduction. It just depends on how significant of one. So hopefully that was helpful to you. Homes will start to stay on the market a little longer. We're going to have these listings. And so all we have to do is hone our skills a little bit to how we manage that to make sure we still get them sold and we still get them to closing. Hopefully it was helpful to you. If I can help you in any way, please feel free to book a strategy call with me right here on the website. It'll give you a link to my calendar and we will set up a time to talk. I hope you strategize around whatever problem it is you're having with your business, and I'll talk to you soon.